Daniel Dubois against Oleksandr Usyk. Realistically, has he got any chance? We've got 30 seconds.
Of course he has. Look, it's a tough ask, of course. You know, the thing with Usyk is he doesn't depend on his power to knock you out. He depends on his skill. That's why it's a tough ask, because he's going to box rings around you. Dubois, good luck. Don Charles, good luck. Great boxing, good luck. Potentially might have the heavyweight championship back on our soil.
I think Daniel Dubois, he's on a roll. He's coming off of a massive win against AJ. Usyk's also on a massive roll. So I think that fight's going to come down to mindset.
Daniel Dubois challenged Usyk in the ring after the fight.
These guys are better enough to play this and these guys need him. Honest, it hit the protector. Why is it called a protector? Because it protects you from certain shots. Was it like, did anyone look at the belt line of Tyson Fury before the fight?
It was high, wasn't it? Yeah,
it was. I mean, I was going to ask what's the neck on them shorts, but it was not. No one said anything. But then ultimately, when Oleksandr Usyk played Daniel Dubois and the shorts are on his navel, and you can clearly see his belly button it's whatever keeps you in narrative in the end. People who are Fury fans, say Usyk's done this, so he's got that. People who are Dubois fans, just make it a cold, hard fact. Hits him on the protector. And then ultimately look out the fight.
The heavyweight boxing scene is on fire right now. Oleksandr Usyk and Daniel Dubois are getting ready for a massive fight that has everything on the line. For Usyk, this is about defending his legacy. And for Dubois, this is his chance to prove that he truly belongs among the best. Fans are buzzing and boxing experts have started giving their predictions, and let me tell you, some of them are shocking. So let's dive into what everyone is saying about this explosive matchup.
About game plan, which I'm not going to disclose.
Of course.
Right? But it's not rocket science what we have to do. We have to go there and try and dismantle this majestic magician, Usyk that is. Okay, this man's a maverick. He's exceptional, isn't he? Yeah. So we have to go there, devise the perfect game plan to conclude the fight.
But the narrative is much better for Dubois. You've got the fact that they fought, and then since then Dubois has been on a tear, beating guys that he was the underdog against, Ergovich, and then Anthony Joshua, of course. The guy has really revamped his entire career, turned it around, gone from a guy that people saw as a quitter to being potentially the most dangerous man in the world. So you've got this narrative now that Dubois is a different guy, so this rematch will be different.
Daniel Dubois is, in a few weeks' time, going to have the chance at this stage of his career, at 27, under Dom, that he deserves as IBF champion. However, there's a problem. Oleksandr Usyk is the best fighter in boxing, period. Of this generation, what he's done at cruiserweight, what he's done at heavyweight, what he's done to all the other British fighters, to do the double over AJ, the double over Tyson Fury. And look at the class he exuded in the interviews earlier. And he knows the danger of Daniel Dubois. The low blow, was it, wasn't it? He knows how tough Daniel Dubois is, and he knows that Dubois improved. But that just spurred...
Teddy Atlas, the legendary trainer, didn't just list facts or talk stats. No, he got real about what makes this fight so exciting. He started with Dubois. According to Teddy, Daniel Dubois has changed big time. He's not the same young fighter who lost in the past. He's grown. He's stronger mentally, more confident, and way more dangerous now. Teddy even said Dubois is a whole new beast, and anyone who thinks he's the same guy from before is just wrong. But even with all that praise, Teddy couldn't bet against Usyk. And it's not just because Usyk has an Olympic gold medal, or because he beat big names like Anthony Joshua twice. No, for Teddy, it's about something deeper. Usyk has this magic about him. No matter the challenge, no matter the odds, Usyk always finds a way to win. It's like he has a gift. He never backs down. He adapts, he fights smart, and somehow he pulls it off every time. But
he is the one, not the 1.5, not the 1 of 3, not the 1 of 8. He is the one heavyweight champion of the world, and he's from the Ukraine. And the Ukrainian people that are under attack, they can look at that and have hope and have pride and have strength that they need. So I think it goes beyond just, the norm when it comes to this particular guy in Usyk.
But Teddy isn't blind to reality. He talked honestly about what Usyk has been through. Hundreds of amateur fights, brutal pro wars, and let's be honest, Usyk isn't getting any younger. Teddy knows how hard boxing is. He didn't sugarcoat it. The sport takes a toll on the body, even for the greats. Staying on top forever? That's nearly impossible.
Anyone who thinks that it's the same fight, they're wrong. I can't go against Usyk. I can't. Because the guy, his greatest strength is he always finds a way to win. Always. The amateurs, Olympic gold, cruiserweights, unified heavyweights, goes to London, fights a bigger guy, fights him twice, beats him. Then he goes and fights a bigger guy again, fights him twice, Fury beats him. I mean, the guy knows how to find a way to win. He's special.
But still, Teddy made something clear. He's not saying Usyk is finished, but he does wish for Usyk to have a proper ending, a proud one. Boxing isn't a fairy tale. Not everyone gets the goodbye they deserve. Some fighters get hurt, some lose everything. But Usyk? Teddy hopes his story ends right. Even with all the wear and tear, Teddy believes Usyk is special. He's fought bigger men, he's been in deep waters, and every time, he finds a way out. That's why, in Teddy's eyes, Usyk is still the man to beat.
There's been a lot of tough fights. He had hundreds of amateur fights. This is an unforgiving business. It is. I know it firsthand. I'm not saying he's not going to win or he can't win. I'm not saying that. I'm just saying I would have loved to see. I'd like the movie to end the way I want to see that. I don't want to see a bad ending for Usyk. I'm not going to say you're gonna. But I'm going to say the opportunity to walk off to the sunset was perfect. But how many do it? How many do it? It's hard. How many do it?
Now here's where things get interesting. Frank Warren, one of the most respected promoters in boxing, doesn't see it the same way. He's been watching Dubois very closely, and when he talks about him, there's a fire in his voice. He truly believes that this version of Dubois is ready to take down Usyk. For Frank, it's not just about Dubois' big punches or his natural power. That's always been there. What's different now is Dubois' mind. Frank says Dubois has matured. After his loss to Joe Joyce, he grew up. He's calmer, more focused, and now knows how to deal with pressure. You can see it in his body language. The way he stares down big names like Anthony Joshua without blinking, that says everything. Frank believes Dubois isn't just a talented kid anymore. He's a grown man. A real contender, someone who was raised to be a boxer. And now, everything's clicking. Frank is putting his faith in Dubois to step into that ring and show the world what he's really made of. He believes Dubois will push Usyk harder than anyone has before. And between the lines, you can feel it. Frank believes Dubois might be the one to end Usyk's reign. And Frank...
The momentum he's on going into this fight is far superior than the one he was on in the first fight. Do you think playing a massive part in this fight?
Because he's been in with a better quality opposition and he's got experience. Listen, he went in with it, going in with Usyk. He lost the fight. That's he hurt him. Whatever way you want to look at it, he hurt him, and he's learned from that. I'm telling you, this next fight is going to be totally different.
What do you think is the fundamental difference between Daniel Dubois that fought Oleksandr 2.5 years ago and the Daniel Dubois that now faces him now?
I think he's matured mentally, very much so. The talent's always been there. He can punch, he can box, he's quite fast. That's there, and he's probably improved on that. He's only 27 years of age. But I think mentally, he grew up a lot after the first fight with Oleksandr, and he's shown that in his next 3 fights. As I said, he's underdog. He got even the build-up to the fights where normally he doesn't say things to do. He'd come out with himself, and certainly with AJ in that room with AJ. I mean, AJ is a street guy. I'm not being disrespectful for saying that. He's come from the streets. He's had, a bit like myself, he come from that background. You know, Daniel's not been like that. He's been brought up since a kid.
Isn't the only one who sees danger in Dubois. Spencer Oliver and Gareth Davis also shared their thoughts, and while neither of them fully doubts Usyk, they both agree on one thing: Dubois is dangerous. Spencer Oliver was clear. He said Usyk is the best heavyweight of this generation, period. You'd have to be crazy not to pick him. I mean, come on. He beat Anthony Joshua twice. He stood toe-to-toe with giants like Tyson Fury. He's proven that he can outbox and outthink any opponent. Spencer calls Usyk a genius in the ring, someone who can change his style, adjust mid-fight and win no matter what. That's why he's picking Usyk to win again. But even Spencer had to admit, if there's one guy right now who could actually give Usyk problems, it's Daniel Dubois. Why? Because Dubois has size, power, aggression, all the tools to shake things up. Spencer might be going with Usyk, but he's not ignoring what Dubois brings to the table.
Let's not sit on the fence here. How does the rematch go? Repeat or revenge? I think you'd be stupid to not say repeat, because Oleksandr Usyk is the #1 heavyweight of our generation. But if there's any one heavyweight out there right now that can give Usyk trouble or possibly beat him, it's Daniel Dubois. But I go with Usyk because you would be stupid not to. The guy's a genius at what he does in the ring, and he proved he can tough it out with Tyson Fury, those 2 victories over Fury, the 2 victories over Anthony Joshua. He can deal with the big men as well, so he always finds a way. Usyk is one of the best fighters of
Gareth Davis went even deeper. Yes, he thinks Usyk is the logical favourite, but Gareth also sees a very real path to victory for Dubois. According to him, Dubois should come out blazing. Don't wait. Don't try to outbox Usyk. Just go for it. Make it a 5-round war. Try to land something huge before Usyk can get comfortable. Gareth even called Dubois the most dangerous heavyweight right now. That's a huge statement. He believes Dubois has the kind of raw fight-changing power that could rattle Usyk early on, maybe even before the Ukrainian champion can adjust. The bottom line, both Spencer and Gareth lean toward Usyk, but they're also warning fans. Dubois is not someone to take lightly. He's not just a warm-up. He could be the guy who flips the whole script.
We were having this chat before we came on as we went through our notes tonight, and I do agree with you. I think that it's hard to pick against Usyk, but I truly believe that for 5 rounds, and I think he should try and detonate for 5 rounds. Dynamite Dubois, Triple D, will be very, very dangerous.
He's the most dangerous heavyweight in the division that can give him a problem right now.
I said it to Oleksandr Usyk, and there's no favouritism here. I think it's Daniel Dubois' time. I think he's a ferocious beast. Absolutely. and I think he deserves all the plaudits. I think what walked into Wembley Stadium was an absolute gladiator, and I'm thrilled for him that he's coming out of himself, growing as a man, becoming more worldly and able to communicate with the media, and I think it's going to be a fabulous fight.
Do you believe that he can get it done inside the distance?
I think he has to get done inside the distance.
Yeah. You don't think he can win on points?
I think it's unlikely.
Yeah.
I think it's unlikely. But whatever, July 19th, brilliant fight.
Well, but not everyone agrees. Duke McKenzie, another respected voice in boxing, just doesn't see Dubois winning this. In Duke's eyes, Usyk is operating on a totally different level. He compared the heavyweight division to football leagues. He said Usyk is in the Premier League, while everyone else, including Dubois, is stuck in the first division. That's how big the gap is in terms of skill, experience, and mindset. Duke respects Dubois. He knows Dubois has improved, but he doesn't believe it's enough. Usyk, he says, is simply too smart, too skilled, and too slick.
We had both of them in the studio last week. Both of them are very impressive for different reasons. How do you see this one?
Different to the first one. I can make much more of an argument for Dubois in this fight.
Me too.
Firstly, because he actually had success in the first fight. Do you think it was low blow? No. Oh, sorry. Yes. You do think it was a low blow? If you look to, yeah, I do. Yeah, sorry. You called me out then with the question. If you look, it lands low.
And while it's got contact with the shorts, it actually rides up at the point of impact.
So I've no use to my argument.
But it's irrelevant, because they're going to fight again. Usyk won the first time, and as he said, he won by stoppage.
Duke predicts Usyk will outbox Dubois again. He's seen his story before, and unless Dubois somehow turns into a completely different person overnight, Duke believes the fight will end the same way. He also hinted that Usyk might even stop Dubois, not because Dubois is weak, but because Usyk is so calculated, he wears fighters down, bit by bit, round after round, until they break. Mentally and physically, that's when Usyk strikes. That's when he ends it. Dubois might have youth, strength, and a new mindset, but in Duke's view, Usyk's skill and experience will be too much in the end. Now here comes Adam Booth with a completely different perspective. Booth doesn't just look at this as a regular rematch, he sees it as a totally new battle. To him, Daniel Dubois isn't the same man who lost before. That old version gone. Back then, Booth says, Dubois didn't have the mental sharpness. He didn't believe in himself fully. His confidence wasn't where it needed to be. And because of that, when things got tough, Dubois folded. But now, Booth sees a fighter who has learned, a fighter who has grown, a man who knows he belongs at the top. Booth points to Dubois' fight against Jarrell Miller. That was a tough test, a real one. Dubois had to dig deep, and he showed everyone, especially himself, that he could push through hard moments. He didn't quit, he stood strong. That changed everything. For Adam Booth, that mental change is what makes this fight so different. He sees Dubois fighting with freedom now. His hands flow better, his footwork is calmer. There's a quiet confidence in him that Booth didn't see before, and that confidence, that's dangerous. Now, let's be real. Booth knows Usyk is still the smart pick. After all, Usyk already beat Dubois once, and Usyk has always been elite. He's already at the top, and he hasn't fallen off. But here's where it gets interesting. Booth doesn't think Usyk has gotten better since the first fight. He hasn't evolved into some new super version of himself. He's still the same great fighter. Meanwhile, Dubois, he's leveled up. And that's why Booth can't shake this feeling. That little voice in his head tells him, watch out, Dubois might actually do it this time. He called Dubois a live underdog, and that means Dubois is dangerous. No matter what the odds say, he's not here just to compete, he's here to win. So there you go.
Daniel Dubois is a different fighter. Fighting is 90% mental, and he is a completely different fighter mentally. He lets his hands go with freedom. He now trusts his engine because he had those rounds with Jarrell Miller that tested his engine. So he's kind of ticked the little boxes along the way, old school style. He's a much better fighter now than the one that fought Usyk the first time. Usyk is a more experienced heavyweight now than he was in the first fight, but I'm not sure he's necessarily a better fighter because he was already fully a fighter back then. So for me, it's a much closer fight. Now in a rematch, the smart thing to do is always go with who won the first fight. Yeah? If you've got to put your house on it, choose that. Second, we're talking about Usyk. So if you force me, I would say, okay, well, if I've got to do it, I'll go Usyk. But if you gave me the freedom of expression, there's a lot for me to actually, you know what? Dubois actually fought.
You have it, the experts have all weighed in, and it's a wild mix of confidence, doubt, hope, and warning. Some are sticking by Usyk. They believe in his brilliance, his ability to adapt, his experience. They say he's been tested before and always comes out on top. For them, Usyk is still the king of the heavyweight division. But others? They're looking at Dubois with wide eyes. They see someone who's no longer scared, no longer unsure, someone who's ready to shock the world. Some say he has the power to rattle Usyk. Others say he has the mental strength now to finish what he couldn't start before. The rematch is coming, and this time, it feels different. Will Usyk prove once again that he's unbeatable? Or will Dubois finally rise and take what so many thought was impossible? This isn't just another fight. This is a moment, a huge one, and we want to hear from you. Do you believe Dubois can pull off the upset? Or do you trust Usyk to remain undefeated and continue his reign at the top? Let us know what you think in the comments below, because one thing's for sure, this fight is going to be electric.